Imagine you spent 3 years building something. You posted every single day. You learned editing software at midnight. You studied algorithms like it was a second job. You sacrificed weekends, relationships, birthday dinners. And slowly, painfully slowly, the numbers started moving. 10,000 followers, then 50, then 200,000. Then one day you cross 1 million. You made it, and then the check arrived. It was $412. That is not a joke. That is not a hypothetical. That is a real number from a real creator who documented every step of it. 1 million followers, years of labor. And the payout was smaller than most people's grocery bill. So today we are going to talk about the actual economics of social media. Not the dream version, not the highlight reel, the real math. The hidden structure that keeps billions of people creating content for platforms that were never designed to make creators rich. Because the uncomfortable truth is this. Social media is one of the most sophisticated wealth extraction systems ever built, and it disguises itself as opportunity. Let's start at the beginning. In 2005, YouTube launched. In 2006, Facebook opened to everyone. In 2010, Instagram appeared. Each one arrived with the same pitch. Here is a free platform. Come build your audience. Share your voice with the world. Free. That word did an enormous amount of work. Because nothing about these platforms was free. Not really. You were paying. Just not with money. You were paying with time, with attention, with creativity, and most importantly, with data. Every post you made, every video you uploaded, every comment you left, it all fed a machine that was learning to understand human behavior at a scale never before possible. The platforms took that machine and sold it, not to you, to advertisers. This is the core business model, and it is older than the internet. Television did it. Radio did it. Newspapers did it. The audience is never the customer. The audience is the product. But social media perfected it. Here is how the money actually flows. A brand, let us say a skincare company, wants to reach women between 25 and 40 who recently searched for anti-aging products, live within 30 miles of Sephora, and have a household income above $80,000. 20 years ago, that was impossible to target. You bought a magazine ad and hoped. Today, a platform like Meta can deliver that audience with surgical precision. That precision is worth billions. Meta made $232 billion in revenue in 2023. Almost all of it from advertising. Now here's the crucial part. Who creates the content that keeps those women scrolling long enough to see the ad? You do. The creators. The users. The people making Reels and TikToks and YouTube Shorts at 1 a.m. You are providing the entertainment infrastructure that makes the whole machine run. And in return, you get a sliver. A sliver so thin that if you do the actual math, most creators are working for less than minimum wage. Let us do that math. Slowly. Because it matters. The YouTube Partner Program, which is considered one of the more generous creator monetization systems, pays creators based on something called CPM. Cost per mil. The amount advertisers pay for every 1,000 views. Average CPM on YouTube sits between $3 and $5. After YouTube takes its 45% cut, you're looking at roughly $1.50 to $2 per 1,000 views. So a video with 1 million views earns somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 before taxes. That sounds decent until you think about what it took to make that video. Research, scripting, filming, multiple takes, editing, thumbnails, titles, publishing, responding to comments. The average YouTube video takes between 20 and 40 hours to produce. For a serious creator, it is often more. So at 1 million views, you might have made $1,500 across 40 hours of work. That is $37 per hour. Not bad, except that most videos do not get 1 million views. The median YouTube video gets under 10,000. At that scale, you made $15. Total. The math only starts working at the very top. And the very top is catastrophically crowded. This is where the irony gets almost funny. Social media told a generation of people that they could build wealth by doing what they love. And then it quietly engineered a system where only the most extreme outliers actually do. Think about it like a lottery that charges you with time instead of money. Millions of people buy tickets every day. The jackpot is real. Mr. Beast exists. Charlie D'Amelio exists. But for every one of them, there are 100,000 creators pouring years of their lives into platforms that will never meaningfully pay them back. And the platforms benefit from every single one of those losing tickets. Because even the creator who never makes a dime is still uploading content, driving engagement, keeping users on the app, generating ad revenue for platform. The losing tickets are actually the most profitable part of the business. Now, you might say, what about brand deals? And yes, brand deals change the math for mid-level creators. If you have 300,000 engaged followers in a specific niche, a brand might pay you between $2,000 and $10,000 per post. That sounds like real money. And it is. But here's the hidden cost that almost nobody talks about. When your income depends on brand deals, you're no longer a creator. You are a salesperson with an audience. Every piece of content you make becomes entangled with the question of whether it is sponsorable. You start self-censoring. You start picking topics based on what advertisers can tolerate, not what you actually want to say. You start building content around a nervous system of commercial approval. The platform did not put a leash on you. You bought your own leash with the promise of income. And the moment your engagement dips, the moment your niche stops being trendy, the moment you say something that makes a brand uncomfortable, the deals dry up. Just like that. No severance. No notice. No contract protecting you. You built your house on rented land. And the landlord can change the rent whenever they feel like it. Zoom out for a moment, because this is bigger than individual creators. We are talking about an economic system where a handful of trillion-dollar companies have essentially outsourced their entire content production to the public for free, and then sold access to that public's attention back to corporations. The creators create, the users consume, the platforms collect. In any other industry, we would call the people doing the labor workers. We would talk about wages, rights, protections. But social media rebranded labor as passion. It rebranded workers as creators. It made the exploitation feel like self-expression. That was genuinely brilliant. Genuinely. You have to respect the architecture of it, even if what it built is troubling, because a worker who thinks they are an artist does not ask for overtime. A user who believes they are building something does not demand a fair share. And a community that feels like a family does not notice it is being monetized. So here we are, billions of hours of human creativity, poured every single day into systems designed to extract value from that creativity, while returning as little as possible to the people producing it. The platforms are not evil in a cartoon sense. They are just structured in a way where your success is incidental to their profit, and your failure is completely fine with them either way. The dream was real enough to keep people trying. The math was always doing something else. And that leaves us with a question that I do not think has a clean answer yet. If the most abundant form of creative work in human history, billions of posts, videos, stories, reels, every single day, is also one of the most economically exploited forms of labor in human history, what does that tell us about where we place our trust? And more quietly, more personally, who exactly got rich while you were busy trying to go viral?